It's time for a tunnel greenhouse update. And today is October 10th, 2025. And last night we had our first actual freeze warning in our area. So the temperature got down to, I believe it was 28 degrees, might have been 26. So we were really curious to see how our greenhouse was going to hold up. And we're here to check out the results and see what happened. As a point of reference, this is a tomato plant that I pulled out last night, and I removed it from the tent because it developed this fungal situation in the soil right here, and that's fine and everything, but I don't know what this is, and honestly it looked a little bit too Last of Us for me to want to keep it going in the tent, so I pulled it out. And this plant is completely done. The frost got it. It did not make it at all. But that was outside the tent. Inside the tunnel was a little bit of a different story. So I'm losing light really quickly here, so I'm going to try to run through this as fast as I can and show you what happened. We got some mixed results, which I'm a little bit surprised by, but we took a little bit of extra precautions in some cases, and we left some plants just on their own as is in the tunnel, and we wanted to see how they would make it with that low of a temperature. So here's what we discovered. So let's start here. This is a good example. This is our 2 warthog pepper plants. And these plants are both, they're in one, I think this is a 15-gallon grow bag. Now, these plants were doing beautifully. And as you can see, the frost did get to this plant, which is a bum out because we were hoping to keep this going. This has been some plants that we were very proud of how they were coming along. We had some issues with it. This was originally inside. We transferred these outside. So we were psyched to see how they were coming along. But curiously enough, you can see right here, the entire plant is not completely wiped out. And I have a feeling that if I were to prune this plant back, that it may even regenerate. I may try that as an experiment, as I would really like to see how it would do after that. Now, I'm surprised that it has this much frost damage at all. And I don't know why the entire plant didn't suffer from that. I don't know. So if anybody has seen anything like this before, drop a comment, because this is a very unexpected result. But maybe we'll do some further experiments on this one. We left a bunch of peppers over here that had pods already growing on them or had flowers growing on them. And we left these exposed just as they are, with no additional protection inside the tunnel. And here's the results we got from that. I would say that this one here, this is a one of the lunchbox peppers that we had growing, and sadly this one looks like it got cooked pretty good by the frost. But if we look at this one here, this is a ghost pepper plant and it looks fine. I don't see any issue with it. Same thing over here with this one. This is an Ahi Fantasy, and it's got a little bit of damage on some leaves, but for the most part, this plant looks fine. I don't really know what to make of that. I don't know why some of them got hit and some of them didn't. This one here is a cowhorn pepper that looks not too great. I'm gonna think that the leaves on this one are probably too far gone, but I don't know. The stems look fine. They're not burned from any frost. This one here is a pink tiger, and again, I don't see any real noticeable damage on any of these leaves. It's kind of bizarre. Okay, so the extra precautions that we decided to take is right behind me here. And what we did was we decided to cover some of the peppers, the ones that we really wanted to do our best to protect, and keep going as long as we could. We just took some old bed sheets and threw those over them to give them a little bit of an added layer of protection. Now, originally I was thinking we could have done this with some agricultural fleece or something like that, but I just didn't get around to ordering any. So the second best thing was just grab some old sheets and cover the plants. Towels probably would have worked as well. I haven't looked under here. We had 2 groups of peppers that we covered up with sheets, and one of them looks great. I'll show you those in a minute, but let's do a little unveiling of this section and see what happened. Big reveal. Let's see how they did. Okay. Looks good so far for the most part. All right, so the first thing here, this is a Apocalypse Scorpion plant that looks pretty good. The leaves are curling a little, but I don't know if I'd say that's frost related. I think it is just the plant. This one's been kind of acting up, like we can't really water it enough for its liking. So I'm going to chalk this up more to that than to the temperature. Oh, awesome. So this is another Ahi Fantasy plant, and this thing looks great. I don't see any damage on any of these leaves. It has some pods on it already, and they look like they're doing okay. This tomato plant over here, I can't say the same for. This looks pretty sad. But now, again, a similar thing to the Apocalypse Scorpion is that these tomato plants were kind of fading out as it was. I mean, I think these are just done and they weren't really going to go on any longer anyway. So the stems seem fine, but the leaves got really toasted and they just are bleh. So yeah, it could just be that this tomato plant was just done for the season as it was and nothing was going to keep it going. And now looking over here, there is another couple of tomato plants under here, and they look better. One of them not so much. Again, it was in a similar kind of state where I think it was just done. I think these are just wrapping up. But the peppers seem to be doing okay. Oh, this is great. Yeah, so we've got another cowhorn plant right here looking okay. Pretty good for the most part. Little bit of damage. And then I don't even remember what this is. Oh, this is a Gypsy Mini Bell over here that is got a tiny bit of damage. Nothing too bad. Now looking down here, these plants in this section are ones that we also put a sheet over last night. These ones fared a little bit better overall, I think. Some of these zinnia plants, like for example, this one here, we didn't include that in covering it up because again, this one's just sort of faded out. These here though, look great. Beautiful zinnias. The peppers look really good. This one here, I think this is a Komodo dragon pepper and it has a lot of flowers on it and it still does. So that's a promising sign. And this is the Thor's Hammer pepper here. Tons of pods on that. Looking good. And we have a Black Panther orange back here. This purpley one looking good. So that's it. That's where we're at. And overall, I would say that with some additional protection, when temperatures get that low, I think that this could be a usable setup. Now, if we really wanted to keep this going, I think that we're going to have to make some improvements. Clearly, the plants did get some damage, even with the additional layer of protection. I'm not sure how we would get around that. So again, the temperature got down to the high to mid 20s last night, and there was a definite frost. When the temperatures were in the 30s, they did just fine in the tunnel without any additional help from us. Tonight is going to be pretty chilly, but a little bit warmer. It's going to be in the low 30s tonight, I believe. We're going to put some sheets over it again and see how they do. And I think that what you really would need to do in our climate anyway, because we do get so cold, I think that we'd have to put an additional layer of plastic or a thicker plastic cover over the frame, and that's really what's going to make the difference. We have toyed with the idea of putting some kind of heating system in here. We have a heater that we bought for our grow tent, which we are not using because it's not needed in there. I'm a little hesitant to plug in a heater and leave it outside overnight. I don't know, but we may try to wrangle something together and see how that works. Anyway, our first experience with the coldest temperatures that we've had so far this season has been so it didn't work quite as 100% good as we would have liked to see, but it did help, and these plants absolutely would have been lost out here if we didn't have them in the tunnel. That's going to be my biggest takeaway. So yes, the tunnel works in temperatures that low, but you really need to have some additional protection in place of some kind. So we'll be doing some more experiments and keep going with that, and we'll let you know how the results turn out. If you have a greenhouse going, let us know what you're doing and how that works for you. We would love to hear and learn more because we want to keep this going. Bye.